So coming up next, we have YU Ka-yin presenting From STEM to STEAM, Biocraft Model Making. Miss Yu, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Yeung from GT College. And today is my great honor to be here to share with you my points of view about STEAM education and to share with you the pedagogy at our school. And my presentation title is From STEM to STEAM, Biocraft Model Making. And when you look at this picture, can you guess what creature they are? The one on your left-hand side looks like a cat, but it has a wing, it has a beak, it has an eagle eyes, and it has a long retractable claws. And the one on your right-hand side is a dolphin, but it has scales from the reptiles. And actually, this is the model making by our grade 7 students. And these are some of the examples of the pedagogies that integrate the science knowledge with arts, which foster the creativity and innovation development in the STEAM education. And in my presentation, I would like to share my points of view about from STEM to STEAM by answering the 3 questions. The first one is, why do STEM hold for the future? And why there is a need to transform STEM to STEAM? And how do arts integration in STEM facilitate teaching and learning? And finally, I would like to share the artistic creations in our, created by our students that promote the STEAM learning. The reasons for the STEM hold for the future is because the STEM drive the innovation. And the innovation is tied to the economy. And you see the development of the AI, technology, robotics, autonomous vehicles, CRISPR techniques, which generate the designer baby, and also the smart city speed up the advancement of our society. And all these technology require the STEM knowledge. And the technology drive the future of our society. And Stephen Hawking, he predicted a race of superhuman will take over the world because of the advancement of the technology. And so the technology which require the STEM knowledge lead our future. And the second importance of the STEM education is that most jobs in the future are STEM jobs. The examples for the STEM jobs including the scientists, the engineers, technicians, apps developer, webs developer, or computer programming analysis. And according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, and you can see that the most rapidly growth rate for the STEM occupation is the mathematics science occupations, which account for 28%, 0.2%, and which is followed by STEM-related post-secondary teachers and also the computer occupations. And the average projected growth for all STEM occupations is 6.5%. And the statistic also reveal that the STEM occupation has a high education requirement. And if you look at the STEM occupation, 73% of the employment require the bachelor degree for entry, but for all occupation, it only accounts for 21%. And therefore, the skilled STEM technicians are in great demand in our society. And also, the STEM education is important to prepare our students to be succeed in the 21st century because the skill and the mindset developed from the STEM education aligned with the learning skills needed in 21st century. And there are 4 C in the 21st century skills, including the creativity, collaboration, critical thinking, and communication. And among them, creativity is the most important capabilities that is essential for the global economy. So what is creativity, and how creativity drives innovation that cause the advancement of the society? And creativity is the ability to conceptualize new and imaginative ideas. That is, the student will be able to find the connection between the random and unrelated phenomenon, and they can find the hidden message and able to create a solution. And creativity is connected with innovation, which is a process to execute a new idea into real-world products that create value for society. And creativity is needed in the process of innovation. So creativity and innovation are the two key factors to create value in the society and also drive the advancement of the community. And nowadays, many of the STEM training focus on the solid foundations of facts and science techniques, but rarely emphasis on the foster the creativity of the scientists. And also the STEM education, some of the STEM education or science knowledge is poorly communicated to the public. And there are some renowned scientists have recognized the value of arts and imagination in the process of generating the scientific knowledge. For example, Jacobus Henricus, who won the first Nobel Prize in chemistry, he recommended that the true scientific imagination is correlated with and supported with creative activity outside science. He was not only a chemist, and he is also a talented flautist, and he is able to write poetry in 4 languages. Besides, Albert Einstein, he believed that the greatest scientists are artists as well. And he was not only a physicist, and he is also a musician. And he gets the inspiration in his music literacy, and he finds the connections between the time and the space. And you see the arts enhance creativity, which is important in the understanding of the science knowledge and also the nature. And art integration into the STEM is a new approach to nurture the future scientists with creativity and transform the STEM into STEAM. And arts education, including the visual, spatial, and graphic art, theater, for example, the storytelling, the scientific storytelling, the dance, and the music, all these are the examples of the arts educations. And the arts facilitates teaching and learning, and I would like to give you 3 examples of it. And the first one, arts can make the idea and the words of science easy communicate to the public. For example, the collaboration of the artists and the scientists in the exhibition would draw the attention of the audience which did not have science background and increase their interest in science. And also, the same visuals can be perceived in diverse way, which act as a complementation to the traditional way of understanding science. And so the arts integration into science allow the scientists to use a new perspective and inspiration to their scientific work. And the second example is the art integration into the scientific journal cover or the content design, which help to draw the reader's attention and also make the concept easy to be understood. And for the science teaching, the complex spatial and temporal dimensions of content knowledge will make is very complex, and it is beyond the limits of human comprehensions. So the teachings of science require the visual representation to make the complex concept simple. And art creation, such as drawing, photography, and model making, are the good practice to make the science teaching effective. And the power of the visual representation, it has been demonstrated by the anatomy drawing of Da Vinci and also the Tree of Life sketch from Charles Darwin. And here, I would like to show you some of the artistic creation from our students. And this is the biological drawing and organized by Royal Society of Hong Kong. Okay, for students to learn better in the STEM, the STEM learning is effective if the student can act as both artists and scientists. And so the teachers may facilitate their scientific exposure and participation and have their reflection on the scientific experience through the artistic creation, such as the biological drawing, video making, and model making. And because the artistic creation can enhance students' spatial intelligence, cognitive abilities, foster their creativity, and also making the abstract concept simple. And also the student enjoyment on their artistic creation would make the learning experience fun and relatable. And this is a drawing made by our grade 8 student, winning in the Hong Kong Specimen Drawing Competition by the Royal Society of Hong Kong. And because the drawing would enhance the teaching by highlight the key features of the organism and also foster the observation at different angles and also different magnification. And this is another biological drawing, which is an octopus. And in this competition, the aim of the competition is to cultivate the students' interest in the biological drawing and also to instill a respect for the life. And in this competition, they have to draw a specimen with some labeling on different parts, and also they have to use their creativity to think about the background of the drawing. And the next artistic creation I would like to share with you is the video making. Video is a dynamic visual medium which is more effective than just standing in front of the whiteboard to illustrate the concept. For example, this is a membrane trafficking pathway which involves different protein complex and also with a complex mechanism. But with the animation, it will make the concept simple. And our students have participated in an international video competition called the Breakthrough Junior Challenge organized by US. And in this competition, they require the participants to create a 3-minute video to illustrate a complicated biological concepts and principles. And I will show you his video now.
2 motor proteins walk into a bar. One says, "I'm mousing." "You?" And the other replies, "I'm dying, and my job is to transport items from the ER. I wonder why haven't I been treated yet? I'll show myself out." Scientists recently discovered how large lipids and proteins move between the endoplasmic reticulum and the Golgi body. They are transported in vesicles with protein coats between the rough ER, where they're synthesized, and the Golgi body, where they're packaged. The protein coat of the vesicle going from the Golgi body to the ER is named COP1, and the one that involves substances moving from the ER to the Golgi body is named COP2. Let's take COP2 as an example. First, a protein called SEC12, which is a guanine nucleotide exchange factor, attaches to the area which will become the vesicle. This attracts an inactive protein known as SAR1 GDP. which is then activated and becomes SAR1, GTP. SAR1 is responsible for many different things, such as protein code recruitment, cargo management, etc. The SAR1 will start recruiting proteins, with SEC23 and SEC24 forming the first protein layer, which is needed for the vesicle to start the binding process and is involved in the binding of cargo molecules. Then recruits SEC13 and 31, thus forming a cage-like second layer, which is called polymerization. Some long molecules like collagen cannot fit into a canonical vesicle, and thus two proteins by the name of TANGO1 and CTAG5 can distort the vesicle to fit many materials. Then, the membrane will undergo scission, which is also thought to be driven by SAR1. After the vesicle has detached from the ER membrane, SAR1 GTP will convert itself into SAR1 GDP, resulting in the disintegration of the
student prepared this video by reading many scientific journals.
Which moves the vesicle along a microfilament.
The content is far beyond his grade 9 levels.
The name of the protein code that codes vesicles traveling between the Golgi body lobes and from the cyst phase of the Golgi body back to the ER. ARF1 GDP, which is inactive, will be activated and become ARF1 GTP. Then, it will recruit proteins referred as alpha, beta, beta prime, gamma, delta, epsilon, and zeta. These proteins will form a cotomer, which will form the protein code itself. After polymerization, the vesicle will break off from the cyst phase of the Golgi body and travel to the ER on a motor protein. What happens when these systems malfunction? A syndrome known as craniolenticular-sutural dysplasia is caused by a mutation in the SEC23 protein that causes SEC13-31 to uncouple from the vesicle. This will cause fibroblasts to have dilated endoplasmic reticulum as collagen DPY7 cannot be secreted, thus causing skeletal defects. These processes have far-reaching implications in the field of medicine and pharmacology, and is generally important in the giant scheme of life. Who could imagine that life as we know it are powered by these small, lifeless machines?
Okay, the last artistic creation that I would like to share with you is the Biocraft model making for our grade 7 student activity. And in this activity, the grade 9, because the grade 9 student, they know the 5 kingdoms. And in this project, we want them to demonstrate their creativity and apply their biological knowledge in making a hybrid animals, which make them to be better survive in the habitat. And this is the task sheet. And first of all, they have to first select a living organism which they are interested in, and they have to look at their scientific name because they also have to know the binomial naming system of the organisms. And then they have to search for the environment that they would want to put the organisms into, and then they have to propose 3 structural features that would help the organisms to better adapt to the selected habitat, and the structural features need to be shown in their models. And they have to make a fact sheet talking about their hybrid animals, and they have to make sure the ratio on the model is of the correct ratio on. And also, they have to use we recommend them to use the recycling material to make their models. And these are the models that I showed you in the beginning. And for the Maoyin dolphins, they reuse the plastic spoon to make the body and to make the scales of the reptile to prevent them from damage by the boat. And also they put the eagle eyes to the dolphin to let them to see clearly, to avoid the fishing net. And this model is a fusion between a snake and a chameleon. Yeah, because they want to provide the camouflage to the snake. And also they put the independent eyes into the snake to allow them to look in all directions to prevent the predator. And this model is quite special because they make the snake movable. And what the student did is he made some cardboard circle, and then he cut it into half, and then stick it one by one into a long strip to make the snake body. And which make the snake movable, because they also apply some physics theory, that is the center of gravity, to make it movable. So here shows when you move the snake, it has some movement. And finally, I would like to mention that we have to take the transdisciplinary and integrative approach in the STEAM activity, so that our students can use multidisciplinary approach to think about the project, think about the problem, think about the issue, and come up with the solution to solve the real-world problems. And in that way, the STEAM education will help to create a more innovative society. And that's all for my sharing today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Yu. And here comes the Q&A session. So I've got a question from the audience asking, has the biological drawings and video making been rolled out as a Tier 1 program? Is it for all of your students?
For the biological drawing competition, it is for the junior student, that is our grade 7 to grade 9 student. And because we think that it is a good way to arouse student interest in the organisms. And for the video competition, it is only recommend for the high ability students, because the concept that involved is far beyond their curriculum. And you see, actually, for a grade 9 student, they do not know what is meant by protein trafficking. Yeah, protein trafficking, that means the vesicle transport between different organelles. And because the student, he is interested in this topic, and so he reads some paper journal, scientific journals, and then make up the video. So for the video competition, it's just for the interested and high performance students. Yeah, but for biological drawing, it is suitable for all the grade 7 to grade 9 students, and even the grade 10 students.
Thank you very much, Ms. Yu. Now, can I please ask Ms. Yu to remain on stage? And also, I would like to invite the previous presenters to come on stage, because we are going to have a souvenir presentation. Please welcome our Director of Discovery and Education, Isabel Lee, to present the souvenirs.